government of Guyana continues on its quest to provide a good life for all Guyanese. As you know, West Side Story highlights the procedure of providing that good life for all Guyanese, especially here when it comes to residents on the West Side. This week, West Side Story begins by taking a look inside of the health sector, and we begin by doing that at the West Demerara Regional Hospital. We will focus on neonatal care here in the community of Best as we take a journey through parts of that hospital. I am Malika Ramsey. Stay with West Side Story. As the government of Guyana continues to improve the quality of life for all its citizens, improving the health sector is high on that agenda. This must be done in order to protect and preserve our country's most important resources, human resources. Children are important to this nation. Therefore, newborn babies and their mothers are important too. It is against this backdrop that there is tremendous effort and focus being placed on neonatal care. A neonatal intensive care unit called a NICU is a unit specializing in the care of ill or premature newborn infants. It assists the baby to make many physical adjustments to life outside the mother's body. This week on West Side Story, we spoke to two medical professionals at the West Demerara Regional Hospital, where a NICU recently became functional. As I did promise you this week on West Side Story, we begin by taking a look inside of the health sector here in the West Bank of Demerara. And it's my pleasure to begin our conversation today with Nurse Donette Payne. She has been a nurse at the West Demerara Regional Hospital, so she'll tell you all about her work as a nurse, how the community has benefited. And it's very, very important. Our conversation is important today too, because we are at this point talking inside of the neonatal intensive care unit that recently became functional. Nurse Payne, welcome to West Side Story this week. And let's talk. First off, let's talk about the neonatal intensive care unit and its benefits and so on.
The neonatal intensive care unit, we're really glad for it because most times we have to take our baby over to Georgetown, or critical babies, because of additional care. Or extra care, as you would see, right? And this unit will help to serve the community, family and friends in Region 3, especially we have our matron and the heads of department. I know they would welcome such an occasion. It helps us a lot, and especially our mothers. We have the poor, the different classes of women in our society, and some of them may not be able to go across to Georgetown, traveling, and the family have to go up and down to visit them. So we're really glad for new intensive care unit over in the West Side.
All right. I did mention earlier that you've been a nurse for some 22 years. Let's talk about that, because we also on this program aim to highlight community works and community efforts and so. And you can also bring in this new unit. How has that bettered your operations as a nurse?
Well, I must first say that I'm, 22 years with Ministry of Health, but I only started working here 2 weeks ago to the neonatal intensive care unit. I was a cleaner for almost 9 years. Then I trained at Region 1 to be a community health worker. And from that, in 2006, I did midwifery in Georgetown. So, in 2011, I was awarded the best midwife in this region, which I'm proud of because of my performance, right? And Ministry of Health and the whole, we always prepare to work. Sometimes we may have a little ups and downs, but we always work with people, right? To better parenting, motherhood. We always want to have safe motherhood. We want our babies to be safe. We always want that when we deliver, or mother come to the hospital and deliver, they must go with a live baby. Right? And that's because of additional care, right? Our procedure is sterile, especially in the NNU. You must wash your hands before and after, and also sanitize. And everything you do must be sterile.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Nurse Payne, and I'm happy that you highlighted some of those achievements. It is something that we should be proud, and most of the residents here on the west side will definitely be proud of, and we trust that persons can use you as an example and as an inspiration. So thank you very much for being on West Side Story this week.
Okay, thank you very much.
As we continue here today with our conversation at the West Demerara Regional Hospital at the, well, NICU, well, the short is NICU, but it's the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. Dr. Henry will tell you about the unit of itself and how it has thus far helped and benefit and so on. And as we speak, we can even hear a baby crying in the background. So it tells you that they're working here.
Our unit here at the West Demerara Regional Hospital was reopened on the 4th of February this year, which is a great accomplishment for our hospital. Because before, if we had any baby that was sick or for want of whatever reason had to be transferred to GPHC, we had to transfer that baby to GPHC. Now the workload, because GPHC is a referral center, was heavy on GPHC. Since our unit has been open, our referral rate at West Demerara Regional Hospital has decreased significantly because of this unit. So our sick babies here, we care for them right here. We don't have to send them over to GPHC. Thus far at West Demerara Regional Hospital, we have been able to save 2 premature babies, one at 27 weeks and the other one at 29 weeks. Those babies...
Sorry, but this could not have been done before.
No. So those babies are presently with their mother. They are doing fine. We normally follow up in clinics with these babies. So that's a great accomplishment for West Demerara Regional Hospital since the NICU has been here. Since it has been officially open, we have seen an influx with our residents from GPHC coming here to work along with us here. Okay. We have trained nurses and we have some doctors who are trained in the NICU. So our procedure here, as nurse has said earlier, is very sterile. So we don't make jokes with ours. Even to our mothers, we encourage them to be sterile along with the family members who are at home, because the continuous care of these babies is not just here, it's at home also. Okay. So that's the thing.
All right, Dr. Henry, I don't know, on an average, how many babies, whether it be per week or a month, how many pregnant mothers you would have to care for a week or a month, which is easier for you to reveal?
Okay, so sometimes within, say we're going to go for a week, sometimes we deal about 20 to 30 babies per week here at West Dem. Yes, because yes, a lot. We have mothers coming from Region 1, Region 2, sometimes Region 10, Kuru River and so on to deliver here. Yes, we have.
Region 10?
Yes, we have had mothers from Linden and so on delivering here, and I've had care here. So our hospital is an integral part in the healthcare system because here is a stop point. We have had mothers from, recently we've had a mother from Berbice, New Amsterdam, who delivered here. So it's a stop point for persons who are traveling. Okay. So if in any way they end up having to deliver, they come here and we deliver them and we take care of their babies here. So.
And finally, before I let you get back to your babies, Dr. Henry, it's always an issue in terms of accommodation and space and so on. Can you talk about the space a bit, even for the babies? And so this is aside from the unit and the things that we saw earlier. Can we just talk about the space, accommodation and so on for mothers and their babies?
Okay, so before we've had cases here where we have doubling on the beds. So because of this unit being open, it's not just the NICU, but we also have the postnatal part. So for the mothers whose babies are sick, and we have to keep them here, the mothers that are discharged, we normally bring them across here to ease the burden of the postnatal unit in the maternity ward. Okay. So by easing that burden in the postnatal ward, you ease the burden in the prenatal ward, so that we could accommodate more mothers and we could ease the burden of 2 on a bed, just 1 person on a bed.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Dr. Henry.
No problem.
Sea defense continues to be of major concern for both residents and government alike. Quick action by the government averted potential disaster at Cinderella Park, Zeelugt, East Bank, Essequibo. Cinderella Park is usually jumping with activities during fun seasons like Easter, Mashramani, and Christmas, as Guyanese travel from as far as Parika and Bartica to enjoy the wide open space in sun, sand, sea, and open air. Normally, residents of Zeelugt and other nearby communities visit the area to simply relax in an atmosphere of peace, calm, and fresh air. This week, West Side Story hears from APNU AFC Councillor Anand Prasad Suku about the millions recently spent to repair a damaged sluice in that area.
As we continue this week on West Side Story, we're now in the Cinderella community, and the Cinderella community is Zeelugt. And this week it's my pleasure to be chatting with APNU AFC Councillor Anand Prasad Suko. Remember, you met him in the first edition of West Side Story, and now he's back. He's going to tell you all about some works that were done on a sluice in this same Cinderella community. Anand Prasad Suko, welcome back to West Side Story. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about where we are right now and what were some of the recent works done.
Okay, we are right now in Zeelugt. Zeelugt is on the east bank of Essequibo. And here we are standing here is that we call it the Zeelugt Cinderella Park beside me. And this here is this Zeelugt sluice. This sluice, we had an emergency work done in it last month, in the month of January 2016. This sluice was before the one before this new one is about 10 years old, and because it was 10 years old, it deteriorates. No attention was paid to it, and because of that, the water erosion damaged it, and the bottom of the half of this sluice was broken away. Now, there was an emergency work done here, as you can see, that the winch, the pulley, and the wire rope were all serviced back. Now, there's a complete structure of this sluice. Green hardwood, specially was bought and replaced for this entire sluice here. Yes, and we had workmen working day and night on this sluice just to save the people in the community, because it was an emergency. The bottom of this sluice has given away.
Worst scenario had the rehabilitative works not been done?
Well, this will all have to do with you call them the rangers who normally check sluice and areas of river part of the shoulder. If this was done before, we could have been able to identify, or rangers could have been able to identify the conditions of the sluice. But this was not done. We were not told, and we haven't seen any ranger. And because of the deterioration of the sluice, it has breaked away. I mean, it breaked away now. We had to do an emergency work here, right?
Flooding in the community?
We had some flooding in the community at the moment. In a few residents, the tide came up so high that a few residents has lost some of their livestock also in the area. But we were able to manage to control the water, right? And because of that, that was saves us for the day. And the REO, the regional executive body, REO, and the engineers all came down and put in an effort to make sure that we could stop this water from coming into the community. And we are very helpful and grateful for the REO and their team. Also, other persons were contacted. The carpenters who came and they worked by night to give assistance so that we could stop the water from flowing in and to have this sluice repaired immediately.
All right, let's talk. It's always important, because I say these projects come all in the name of the fact that the government continues to provide the good life for residents and citizens that they promised. So it always comes back to how much has been spent on such a project.
This project, I will say that it was about $2.5 million was spent here because of emergency work. There were laborers, there were purchases of wood. We had to pay overnight lighting and all these to assist. In the area here is dark, get lights, get workmen to work shift from night to day to night, so that we can control this area here of water.
Okay, all right. How long is this expected to last, and can the residents and the community look forward to maintenance works?
I think this sluice here will give us at least about 10 to 12 years guarantee because the whole frame is new wood, new structure and everything here.
Okay.
At least at about 10 to 12 years, we'll have no problem here with this sluice at Zeelugt here.
How much maintenance required at all, if any?
Maintenance, yes, we have to do maintenance. We have to look at the pulley, we have to look at the winch, we have to look at the wire rope because if they go, nothing cannot be done. So the maintenance will normally fall on the wire ropes here. You can see there's a pulley across there, and you have the winch itself. Because if that is damaged, then you have to replace new winch, new pulley, new wire ropes to get this function to be functioning, to raise up and down back.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Anand Pisatsuko. It was a pleasure to have you back here on West Side Story. Stay tuned. This is West Side Story. We will continue as we head to another community right here on the West Side.
The news of a $40 million domestic violence center for Cornelia Ida recently surfaced, and West Side Story was curious about its exact location on the West Bank.
Thank you very much for continuing to stay with West Side Story this week. Of course, one of the things on government's priority list is addressing the issue of women in society. And Guyana has been unfortunately plagued with a series of domestic violence and violence against women. It is on that note that the government has decided to provide for a $40 million home for abused women. Of course, that home will be constructed right here in the community of Cornelia Ida. Currently in the compound where the home is expected to be constructed is the Save the Children home. So government will definitely be providing one compound for saving children and of course for saving abused women. Let's hear from the Minister of Social Protection, Mrs. Valda Ann Lawrence, as she responds to some questions in the National Assembly regarding the construction of this home that is expected to provide for women who are abused.
Honorable Minister, under Project Code 1216400 buildings, I noticed the Domestic Violence Center will be built in Cornelia Ida. Has this project been awarded to someone, and what was the process through which this was awarded? If so, and what will be the whole idea behind this building? What services will it offer?
I thank the Honourable Member. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm hoping that when the Honourable Member votes this evening that we'll be able to put out this contract for $40 million to have this, the construction of the domestic violence home. It's a place where we'll be able to give shelter to persons who would have suffered abuse.
I thank the Honourable Minister. Honourable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you know, I had asked for you to get more money, so that's not going to be a problem because I feel more money is needed for this sector. However, for this building, is this the complete cost of the building that you are projecting here?
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Minister.
No, Honorable Chairman, this is not the total cost. We're anticipating that that will cost us somewhere around $60 million. Fortunately for us, that we had a very good person who left in her estate $12 million. So we'll be adding it to this 40, which will take us quite some way.
I thank the Honourable Minister.
Follow-up question,
Member.
Mr. Chair. Honourable Minister, is this a new building or is this an addition to an existing building?
I thank the Honourable Member. Honourable Minister.
This will be a new building.
I thank the Honourable Minister. Honourable Mrs. Prasad, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A follow-up to the same question. Could the Honourable Minister state if it will be just the victim, the one person, or in cases where you have females, mothers, will it accommodate children also? And what type of programs will there be to assist them out of this situation?
I thank the honourable member. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the home that we're building will make accommodation for persons with their families. With regards to the program, this year in the budget, we've also indicated that we will be setting up the domestic violence and sexual offenses department. And so as soon as that comes on stream, we will be able to sit down and work out the program for this particular home.
I thank the honourable minister.
Follow-up.
Honourable member.
Thank you. Follow-up question. What's the capacity of this shelter or home or center?
We're catering for 10 families.
And the good life continues right here on West Side Story, and this time we are in the community of Denamstel. Recently, the Minister of Social Cohesion, Minister Amna Ali, joined a team of persons who, on government's behalf, distributed some very important items to the community of Denamstel, to residents of the community of Denamstel. Of course, Minister Ali has also taken up the challenge of ensuring that there is social cohesion in our nation. So social cohesion is all part of helping to achieve that good life for all Guyanese that we promised you. Let's take a look at Minister Ali's recent distribution exercise right here in the community of Denamstel.
The government of Guyana's Department of Social Cohesion has a mandate to ensure that gaps are bridged and national unity is promoted. Minister of Social Cohesion, Amna Ali, has in the past months ensured that this is done through providing government assistance by distributing food hampers, shoes, clothing, books, and many other items. That sort of social cohesion was recently promoted among children and residents of the Denamstel, Iflot, and Virgin Nugent communities.
But we want to make you happy. We want to put some smiles on your face. And so we have chosen Region 3 to start this exercise where we are giving out little gifts to our children. We were at Denamstel earlier. We are here now at Iflot, and we are going to Virgin Nugent in a short while. Now these gifts, we have been able to get them from an organization called Caring for Others. And so we partnered with Caring for Others because they care for you. They care for the people of Guyana. And we care for the people of Guyana. We care for the children of Guyana. And that is why we have this exercise here today in Iflot.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have with you here this week on West Side Story. It certainly was a pleasure. I am Malika Ramsey, inviting you to join me again for another edition very, very soon of West Side Story. Do take care.